Thank you for tuning in to Koppen with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. I'm here with comic Ariel Evans. Ariel Evans, how the hell are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Real quick, let's plug your comedy up top. If people are in New York City, where can they see you do stand-up? But also, where can they find you online if they're not lucky enough to be in the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So I performed all over a lot of bar shows. You can find me at the Comic Strip Live, at the stand a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, just out here grinding online, arielevanscomedy.com. On Instagram, Ariel Diamond Evans 8.
Diamond?
Yeah.
Diamond Evans 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Diamond like the diamond earring?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an alter ego.
Okay. Yeah. So do you go by Diamond in your comedy act? And kind of what kind of comedy can people expect if they go to an Ariel Evans show?
Yeah, so I just go by my regular name, Ariel Evans, on stage.
Okay.
I would describe my comedy kind of as like social commentary, but I talk a lot about my family and upbringing, things like that. So.
Oh, good. And that's probably, as far as social commentary, does it get political? And what's your outlook on, the current Democratic primary, impeachment, and does that inform your comedy at all? And do you talk about it on stage? Do you find you can make it funny?
Sometimes it's so absurd that it's just funny itself. So I try to make it funny. I definitely talk about politics on stage, but I try to look at it in a different lens because, everybody has a Trump joke and everybody does a Trump joke. So I try to find more interesting stories or more stories that kind of annoy me and then try to find the funny in that. So kind of a different look at it.
And how can it even be more funny than Trump?
Honestly, it's hard. His Twitter game is on point.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hard to be funnier. I usually find that the supporting characters in the administration are pretty funny and absurd.
Yeah, like Kellyanne Conway and her husband and things like that.
Yeah, like Ben Carson.
Oh,
that's another.
He's still around. He's at HUD?
He's at HUD.
Okay. When he's not furnishing the entire building with expensive gold and leather.
Yeah, pretty much. I think his game plan is just to be quiet so they forget he's there.
Yeah, I think Trump likes that. He appreciates that. He doesn't want people on his megaphone.
Yeah, exactly.
And as far as the Democratic primary, who do you think is going to emerge and who do you think has just got no shot in hell? I mean, do we think Pete Buttigieg is anything or do we think he's a couple cycles away from being a couple cycles away?
I can't say for I don't think he'll be up top. Like high on the tickets, I'm thinking like top 3.
He could even be.
I don't think.
Could he be a vice president?
Ooh,
it depends who wins,
though.
Yeah. I suppose. Like if Kamala Harris, stayed in and she won, maybe Buttigieg would be okay. But I mean, do you think Biden's got it? Do you think one of the socialist candidates can beat him out?
I think
or
it will be
Klobuchar or whatever her name is. She's solid.
I mean, I don't really care for Senator Klobuchar, but I would say top would probably be like Biden, Sanders, Warren.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't know anything. Like, nobody knows anything because in 2016, we all thought something different was going to happen. So.
Yeah, and then Trump won, and he could win again. Like, do you think there's anything that he could do to lose it? Or do you think you think he's going to win regardless?
I don't think there's anything he could do to lose it. I feel like he's already done that times over.
Yeah, and so he can't do any worse, and he still might win anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And why do you think that is? I mean, after Trump got elected, he beat Hillary, do you think you saw your audience in a different way? I mean, did you wake up that morning thinking, I thought everybody in my audience was a certain way, and now I'm not so sure, especially if you venture outside of New York City?
I wouldn't say I think of my audience differently, but I am more aware of it because before the election, things have gotten, people have gotten very passionate on both sides. And so I try to kind of not be in the middle because you can tell where I stand politically in my comedy, but try to, hit both sides essentially because both sides do absurd things. And so I try to kind of not isolate people in my comedy, but, enjoy things they can laugh at. Like, one thing I talk about Trump is, like, he's just an unattractive person. And I think everybody can agree with that no matter where you stand. And so
you're saying how he looks or how he acts, like unpleasant by nature or just he looks like just a pumpkin with a mouth?
I mean, I think both, but I just think he looks gross. I don't think, people on the right will be like, oh, Trump is hot.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair shot at him.
Yeah, and I think so too. And then as far as impeachment goes, do you think the Democrats are overplaying their hand? Do you think he'll just be acquitted quickly in the Senate and he'll get reelected anyway? One of the few who got impeached and then got reelected.
Yeah, I think
And how is that going to play at the ballot box? Do we think moderates are going to, be turned? Are they going to kind of leap to his defense because he comes off as a sympathetic figure, if that's possible?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think both sides will use this kind of as a rallying cry.
Okay.
So the Democrats will be like, look what we did. We impeached him.
Right.
The Republicans will be like, look, they're trying to attack him and take him out of office. It's all political. It's not actually based on anything.
And they couldn't win at the ballot box, so now they need to take him out via some congressional inside baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, I would be surprised, honestly, if the impeachment passed through the Senate.
Oh, right.
I think, in order for the Democrats to get the support, I don't know if they'll get it.
And then a couple things that could happen is, number one, I think senators are required to be there during the trial, which could take several senators off the campaign trail, and I guess that would hurt everybody but Pete Buttigieg, and then who else? I suppose Yang is still out there.
Biden.
Biden. So I suppose it will just, any lead, he will bank it by just staying out on the road. And but by the same token, I think Republican senators, certain of them are up for re-election too, so it could keep them away from their state. But do you think kind of a show trial without any witnesses will hurt Republicans' chance to keep the Senate? And of course, I'd be all for that. But do you think McConnell even has to put up a good show of it by he's not going to call Bolton or whoever that fired guy who wants to Josh Bolton. I guess it's not.
It's John Bolton.
There was also the Josh Bolton who's the chief of staff for Bush that I just saw in a documentary. But John Bolton, the walrus looking dude, he won't call him. But do you think they're going to try to call a couple people to make it look good?
I think they will. I think if they're smart and they play their cards right, they will play it to. It's kind of similar the way I think you saw in the Brett Kavanaugh hearings.
Yeah.
Well, they put up a good show and a good face, but anybody could tell that actually was an actual investigation. So I think they'll go along those lines. I think that would be a smart political move for them to do.
And what do you think about that? Like the whole McConnell tanking Merrick Garland. He didn't consider Obama's final nominee for the Supreme Court, but then he just rammed Kavanaugh through. Yeah. I mean, justices are super important. I went to law school, so the only thing you learn is that the Supreme Court of the United States is just the important entity. And so do you think Democrats are just too bad at this? Are we too weak? Are we too squeamish? I think they said that on the West Wing. I think Josh, the Josh character on West Wing said, the other side is just better at it than we are. Do you think Democrats don't play tough enough? And could they play tougher, especially if a comic were writing their material?
I absolutely think they do. I actually do have a joke that I think Democrats are the worst because I think they're weak. Yeah. And I go and kind of comparing like things Republicans do, I think Democrats would do. And at the end of the day, I usually vote Democrat, but I do think they're weak, and I think take some things out of their handbook. As far as like Merrick Garland and that situation, I think looking at it, I think it was a great political move for Mitch McConnell to do. That was beautifully executed. As a person who doesn't support it, I'm like, this is the most frustrating thing. Yeah, because the Supreme Court will change our lifetimes, change the future lifetime. That's such a huge effect on everybody's life. So like that.
And even they're not considering I think all the Republican attorney generals and the Trump administration just wrote some sort of amicus brief or whatever asking the Supreme Court not to consider the Obamacare ruling before the election.
I did see that.
Yeah, because when they win the election, they'll be like, see, the American public's on our side. We have a mandate, but also they want to piss people off who get their health care taken away before the election. But then again, I think the Democrats are going to use it as a rallying cry anyway. These people are suing to take away, they're suing to demolish Obamacare. You got to come to the ballot box. And what is a human right? I mean, do you think health care is an American right? And do you think privacy is too? Because that's kind of the next Supreme Court issue. Like, social media, privacy, things like that, spying via Amazon Ring, things on their door. I mean, do you think privacy and health care are a human right?
Yeah, I definitely think health care is a human right. I think privacy needs to be protected, and I don't know where that line is. Because there's a fine line between making things more accessible in all aspects, but there's also protecting people's privacy. And so where is that line? I think, we can't just let, big tech hold themselves accountable because they've proven time after time that they cannot hold themselves accountable. So there needs to be some kind of regulation around that. I don't know what the sweet spot is.
And it's not the Supreme Court of Republican justices are probably not the people too. And they are going to be the people who, find that line and they'll pick the case that makes it easier for them to chip away at all the, abortion and things like that. If you were to run for office and just be hilarious doing it, what would is it Ariel Evans or
It's Ariel?
Ariel.
Yes.
Ariel Evans. I've been saying it wrong.
No,
now,
not a problem.
Ariel Evans were on the ballot box, what would be her signature issue? What would be the one thing she cares about, and can she make that funny?
Oh,
Because Ariel Evans for Comedian of the Year, it's got to be memorable. Like what's in your act that
yeah.
makes you unique, and what makes it hilarious for us to walk away shaking our head, being like Ariel Evans, she's the diamond.
Yeah, I like that callback. That was a nice callback. I think I'm gonna take the unique aspect of my comedy because I think that's the easier one. I think that I just bring a different perspective, and like the fact that I did used to work in politics. I'm a Black woman from Seattle. There's not many. I mean, I'm definitely not the only person out there doing
Not
that.
many Black women from Seattle with a background in politics in New York City comedy.
True.
Right.
Yeah, and so I bring that definitely unique perspective, and I try to kind of tell my story, but also make it funny and make it relatable, and try to, open people's not eyes or minds, but to different kind of backgrounds, different kind of people in the way. Because people, when they see me on stage, they expect one thing, but then they get another thing.
So what are they expecting and what are they getting?
I think that people have traditionally and sometimes stereotypically associated Black comics with being just like super hype and like in your face and kind of maybe raunchy. And that's like, I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like a low energy comic.
Okay.
That's kind of, I talk slowly. I talk about more deeper issues. And so it's kind of like longer form jokes. And so just having that kind of different aspect. And, obviously Black comedians are very different, wide range, but people have this because of what they see on TV and what they've, grown up with, have this kind of view of the way Black comedians should be.
And just to say, you're more Chappelle than Hart or Rock as far as your delivery. And I just saw, what's her name? Mariel. There was a comic. What the fuck is her name? Oh my gosh, Miriam. I'm just fucking spacing. But she's a comic. I think she's a person of color, and she did. I almost think it was Awkward Comedy Show with Vic Varnado, Hannibal Buress, and Eric Andre back in 2011. I just caught him. Mariana Franklin.
Marina Franklin.
Marina Franklin, there it is. Thank you. I'm glad we got there eventually. I was not picking a fake name.
I thought it may be her. I was like, I think you may be talking about Marina, but I'm not.
Marina Franklin.
Yes,
and I mean,
love
she's
her.
a little bit more low-key, too, and she came from Chicago, so she has a diverse background, too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, did you kind of, are you at all like her on stage?
I would say she's definitely 1,000 times funnier than me, but I would say that kind of like our presence is similar. Okay. I remember the first time I saw her, I was like, oh, what? She's amazing. And it like reminded me of myself and like how I want to be in a few years. So I love Marina Franklin. I would say, we have similar styles.
Well, then we will track your career to make sure that you turn out like, is it Mariana Franklin? I forgot it.
Marina
Franklin. Yeah. But the person we want to see in the future is Ariel Evans. And where can people find you again? ArielEvans.com?
ArielEvansComedy.com. On Instagram, Ariel Diamond Evans 8. On Twitter, Ariel Diamond 8.
She's got it all, and I mean, she's got it locked in her brain. She's been explaining because there might be lesser Ariel Evans out there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ariel, for coming in. We'll be on the lookout for everything you have in the future and whether or not you turn out like this Marina Franklin. So thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.